Oh, hi.
Hello.
Hey, Jeremy. How are
Hey,
you today?
Jeremy.
I I guess I can maybe do another post inside of the uh, the Discord. Let's see. Let me see if I can share the invite. Copy invite link.
Hello.
And then hello. I don't know. I guess if somebody already posted it in one of those other Hiero channels. What's that called?
The Hiero General channel is the only other one that would get
No, I
it.
was, well, okay, but I was thinking we our Slack internal Slack channel.
Oh, yeah, I can post it there.
Is it Pound Hyro? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
here we go. Yeah.
I'm gonna step away for a minute. I'll be listening.
Let's see. So we have, oh, we have Alex here. Hey, Alex. Da, da, da.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Um, okay, well, I'm guessing that y'all just joined to listen in, or did y'all have agenda items?
I joined to hear mostly to listen in, but also to kind of get an understanding of how reasonable it would be to add a Docker published up to solo releases.
Oh, Well, I didn't technically even look at his code. Nathan did though. Let me see. So the action, I think it's called.
I guess I wasn't specifically looking for like, oh yes, it's 100% feasible by changing these three lines or whatever. I was more looking at it shouldn't be that hard, right? Like I haven't.
No, I mean, depending on what, I mean, like, assuming that we integrated his code into ours, which I don't know, I haven't really looked at it,
Yeah.
uh, as a starting point anyway, then theoretically, let's just say theoretically, because there's concerns there too, um, that it would be like there would be a GitHub step inside of probably our deployment action. And it would just, yeah, it would just basically in there, it would use, I guess, the most up-to-date version of Solo that we just got through publishing to like npm JS and JFrog. And then it would pull that, and then it would, run the Docker container build process. And then it would publish the artifact to, depending on how we have it configured, wherever we're publishing our containers to. Our Hiero containers, like, because we would probably follow process. A lot of times, because I'm a part of the release engineering team, then Nathan's, my manager Nathan, for those listening to the call that don't have any background, what we typically do is we're the guinea pigs. You know this, Andrew, because you're part of
Oh
this
yes.
too. So our repos end up being the guinea pig. So sometimes we end up with doing things the right way, the best way, or the way that we really wanted to do in the future, but maybe not all the other repos are doing it. So yeah, so I don't know. I know we publish our containers to a repository, maybe more than one, and I don't know if it would be the same or not, but whatever the future direction is usually probably the direction we go. But if we went down that approach, then yeah, that's what we would do. As far as the amount of work, I think part of it is the place that we would publish to already ready for us? Would that need some setup? And then who has access? Of course, Nathan probably could, but maybe or your team, Andrew, Roger, you'll probably also have access. But somebody would go in there and probably make sure that we have what we need to publish to that repository. And then once those requirements are met, then we would probably, just have to go in there and enhance the CI pipeline for the workflow. Probably using the existing workflow at a top level, but maybe depending on how complex it is, it might add a new reusable workflow, or it might just be, if it's just a job or two, or a step or two, I mean, then it can maybe go into one of our existing workflows, reusable or the main workflow. So does that help?
Yeah, that certainly helps.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for the information on that. I think we can chat about it at some other point if this is a direction we want to go, but it doesn't seem like adding a new workflow that runs every time we do a new publish and just kind of build a Docker image, release a Docker image is a lot of overhead. So,
No, and we actually one of our projects, our repos that is intended to be public, it's just not polished enough to be publicly visible. Is the solo containers repo. And so the Hashgraph solo containers repo, which is private right now, just because there's some stuff in there like settings and things like that from a security perspective that need to be updated, as well as like readmes and things like that, and pipelines locked up and things like that. But that one already does build Docker containers. So yeah, we have one that, so our team is capable of working on that. So
okay, perfect. Yeah, that's all I had for this call. Thanks.
yeah, cool. Let's see. Oh, Matt joined. I think Matt's just listening in too, probably. I don't know if you have any topics, Matt.
So, sorry, were you asking if I had any topics? I don't have any topics.
Okay. Let's see. Is there anything that I wanted to discuss? Yeah, so I guess just at a high level for anybody who wants to kind of like understand, a little bit more about Solo that's maybe listening to the recording later. This is our second community meeting. As we get more of an audience, or if you want to post, we have a Discord Solo channel. And you can always reach out to us. Through the Discord channel is a great way. It's the here. Let me share my screen. And this is public, so Zoom share screen. Yeah. So this is the Linux Foundation. Oh, it isn't like I'm gonna do hover over it. I don't know. Like maybe I could do that. Oh, there you go. Linux Foundation Decentralized Trust. I think I found the invite by Googling and doing some research, but it's posted in a couple places. But if you have trouble doing it, if you know of a way to reach out to us, for example, if I mean, I wouldn't want a whole lot of people doing it, but if you need to, then you can go into the Solo repo. And if you have no other way of reaching out to us, maybe create an issue. It looks like we have the discussions tab. No, it's not started yet. Okay. So yeah, I just pop an issue in there, just say, hey, I need some help, and just ask maybe for the Hiero Solo Discord invite, and we'll get you in there. It's not Solo specific, but this is our channel here. It's called Pound Solo, and I think if you're navigating, it's underneath. I think there's a Hiero group somewhere. I think it's called Hiero. There's a lot of channels in here, and they're kind of like collected. So I believe it's underneath the Hiero one, but since I favored it, it might have moved it up and out of there. So because it may only show one, but yeah. So this is the Solo channel. It doesn't have a lot of volume yet. But one of the things that we are trying to do at the moment for quarter 3 is make the application a lot more friendly for the users. And so it's we kind of started off with the quick start single deploy, which is brand new. And we've been, polishing that. It's still got a little bit more polish to do, but it's already, doing a little bit for us. It will consolidate, and we've been trying to get the readmes updated as a top priority. So anytime we find issues with that, we try to make that a priority. Let's see. So if I do, actually, name's probably a good one. But we release version it, and whatever version, if you were, like, for example, to choose an old version, it's kind of like the list is cached. So if you go to like latest or main, then you can get, a more up-to-date list. And so from there, you can go into docs, and then we have this wonderful CLI commands, which gives you the full list of all of our commands. And we got this new one here called quick start single, and it really doesn't even have that many options. These are more like global options, but really you just run, this command right here. This one's actually not ready yet, but I had not commented it out, but it won't do anything yet. But yeah, so this one right here will basically stand up a probably need to add a little bit more notes there, because it stands up the sorry, my brain is slowing down for a second. It stands up one consensus node with the network, with the Solo chart, Solo deployment chart. And then from there, it will stand up a mirror node and an explorer and a relay, and it will set the port forward on all of those. It'll set 502.11, which is the gRPC port for the consensus node. It will set the mirror node ingress controller, which what that does is it'll basically do 8081, and it will give you the gRPC, the REST Java, the Web3, all underneath one port, and that ingress controller does the redirects to the proper pod handle component. I guess you could say component if you wanted to pull Kubernetes lingo out of it. And then it will set 7546 for the relay and 8080 for the explorer. And it'll do that automatically, and then it does this nice little sysout dump at the end where it tells you the namespace, the deployment. It'll tell you the ports that it opened up. It'll tell you the versions of the Helm charts it installed. It'll tell you the versions of the the mirror node and all that stuff that you install. The consensus node, I believe it's just a consensus node. I can't remember. I think it does. But it just gives you a really nice dump at the end that tells you all the information. Oh, and there was a recent enhancement that went in that's in main. I don't know. I don't think it's in 41.0 yet, but it will also create some keys for you automatically. And I think Evo on our team, he actually mashed it to the local node. So like if there's some pre-existing local node keys that when you start up local node, it'll automatically give you some keys to use. So what Evo did was he went in there and enhanced the quick start command to automatically give you those same keys, and it dumps it to sysout at the end so that the user can see all those keys. So that's pretty cool. So that's pretty exciting. And we have like just a really huge backlog of a lot more stuff to do as far as what we can do for the user. But yeah, one of the things being done right now is the examples folder. So that's being cleaned up. Previously, we had a lot of stuff commingled in there, like Alex, who is on the call, was doing some performance testing of some of the hash graph work that we do. And so he was using that in his early days. Since then, he's kind of moved into his own repo. But some of that basic stuff was in there. And then I was testing that we could deploy to GKE correctly. And so I had stuck some stuff in there. And then there's like an address book for where we had modified. It's like you would stand up the network, and then because it wasn't feeding the mirror node correctly, like all of the nodes in the address book because of some gaps. We would use Yockley to modify it, and so I kind of like bundled that up. And so what the team is doing now is we're going back into that examples folder, and we're making it so that every one of the folders within the examples folder will be self-contained, and at some point, once we get it all there, it'll even we'll zip it up and make it part of the release artifacts. And so that way, because a lot of times people will just I just want to go and download this one folder. They don't want all of the repo. And some people would zip it up and pass it to somebody else. So we're just going to zip it up and add it as a release artifact. But what we're trying to do is make it so that each one of those examples folders completely standalone with no other dependencies outside of that folder, because it's not that way right now. So that work is being worked on in layers, because there's quite a few little task in order to accomplish the long-term vision. But the first layer of just getting all those examples running independently and removing the ones that are not relevant, that's already underway. And I think it might even be putting the finishing touches on that first part. So that's one of the things we're doing. And then we're taking notes because internally at Hashgraph, we're doing a lot of drinking our own champagne, where we're using Solo to do a lot of our testing. A lot of the teams are, and so as all these different repos and teams are using Solo for all these different scenarios, we're getting tons of feedback, user feedback in a way, and so that feedback is allowing us to quickly figure out new documentation that we need to add, documentation that's a little bit out of date, or documentation that has gaps, just all kinds of things. We had some developer advocates go in and take a look at it, and they had really, really good feedback of how things that we could do to make this just really, really a smooth experience for end users, that especially if they don't have a lot of information and knowledge about Kubernetes and Helm and Docker and just all these different things. And so it was really, really valid. And one of the cool things that I think it was Raphael or Giuseppe? I think it was Giuseppe. Maybe it was saying that basically, if we can make it so that it's like a black box, and that essentially they just run a command and Solo does its magic, and they don't need to know that it's even using Kubernetes or Docker or any of that stuff, or if we install some stuff on their machine, whatever, that's fine. But they don't really have to know anything about it, and the way that they interacted in it with it doesn't require them to know anything about it, and doesn't really suggest that we're using these technologies even necessarily. And I thought that was like really kind of valuable feedback. And so there was a lot of comments in some of these things, so I'm not going to go over them now, but there was just a lot of great feedback. And some of the things that were discussed, actually, we already had in our backlog, like about anywhere from 30, depending on the feedback that we were getting and who we were getting it from. It was anywhere from like 30% to like 60 or 70% of the suggestions that they had, we already had in our backlog. And many of those things might be even get done in Q3. Some of them might be in Q4, and then some of them might be a little bit further down the backlog list. But yeah, so a lot of exciting things, especially from a user perspective in Solo. One of the things that it may not be this release, because we're kind of holding out until it's like a major shift all at the same time, because it's pretty drastic, except for quick start. Quick start's already underneath the new format. And I think Blocknode, but nobody's really using Blocknode yet, except the Blocknode team, because it's underneath development. But if we go to, actually, I use this so that people who are watching can see that the link is actually here. So if you click on this, it'll, oh, that's interesting. Huh. I wonder why that didn't work. Maybe if it's let me click it, let me see again. Our ledger Solo issues. Oh, why does it show issues? I think that's broke. I think it should be like, yeah, that's a bug. Let me make a note of that. Let's see. So that was that's a solo link in highlight. Okay. Oops. Orion's code. So if you go to see what's over in the solo docs, oh, I know where it is. So go to code, and then go to it's in main, so that's good. So there are docs, and then we go underneath design, and then we go to architecture, and then we go to system. And so this was the one I was wanting to talk about. So just so that y'all know, this is here. This is kind of like a restructuring of all of the commands. And we're kind of like, this is a little bit broke right now. I think we have a PR to fix it. But the block node, and then you essentially have this list of, here, let's go in here and probably just look at it like this. Be easier because it's broke. Yeah, so you can't see, it's not showing that stuff correctly. I think you have to add an escape, but some stuff was messing up. So we created consistency. So it'd be basically 3 levels deep. So it'd be like solo block node list, or solo consensus node list. But we're trying to align the commands. So like, that like an add, there's add, and then there's destroy. But some of them they're kind of inconsistent right now. And they're not 3 levels deep. There are a lot of them are only 2 levels deep. So this is kind of like a larger change, because some of them are a little bit confusing as to like how the old command would map to the new command. And so we'll have to update all the README, and then somebody that's just going to be jumping between this is going to be pretty big. So I don't know if this is going to be 42 or 43, depending on how long before it's ready. Then we'll try and do it so that this new structure hits at the same time, so that it's not multiple releases that it's spread across. But not all of these commands will be there if you're looking at this page on day one. I mean, this is the long-term final vision. This is not like day one. So the existing commands we're going to try to map over into this new structure, and that's what will be in the upcoming release. Either, in the next release or two, probably, depending on how fast we have to roll stuff out between those two times. A large amount of the work is already done, but some of the only a small amount of the weren't mapping over correctly, and so in order to map it over to the new structure, it requires a little bit more invasive set of changes. And so that's why it's still being worked. Otherwise, we'd probably have it rolled out this week. So yeah, and there's a lot of, feel free to peruse this at your own leisure. But there's a lot of new, just commands in here of, trying to think down the road, future vision, and there's going to be things missing. I mean, the other day we were going back and we found some stuff that was missing. And so I think I don't know if it got finished and got added, but I don't think it did. And in fact, I think I have something that Jean was flagging that I put in my to-do list to go back, and he asked that this be updated with what we discussed. So, but there's more diagrams in here too. This is also our long-term vision of the code base, which does right now. A lot of the existing stuff was underneath core and I think commands. And underneath the new structure, it won't. Those eventually, those two folders worth of code will just be absorbed and restructured into a newer model. And so, like CLI, you see this is like the CLI application. This is essentially what we have today. But long term, we want to create other layers. I think they said that the next one might be this REST API layer. And so we want to have this API layer facade layer to kind of be between, so that the REST API layer could call this, but that would be completely reusable for like a GitHub action or an Electron application or something like that. And it would just be a library that they could just, import, depending on, or require, I guess, depending on whether you're using classic or module JS. But yeah, this is just like, a lot of work. So, but some of it's already kind of underway. Let's see. A lot of this is for the developers, so I don't know that it's appropriate, and some of it's not done yet. But I mostly just wanted to mention this presentation layer because that would be impactful to the user. And if anybody's listening to this call, just know that it's here. Feel free to comment so that we can improve it. And yeah, as it's kind of noticed, it's not completely done. So, yeah, and let's see, is there anything else I want to say? Examples, yeah. So, Solo is rapidly improving with a very small team. We have been getting a little bit of contributions, not a whole lot. We get some usually around README stuff or typos. So that's kind of what we've been getting. One of them was really good though. It was pointing out recently that we had the wrong. I think it was kind. We used the version number of the container, the Docker container, instead of the version number of the kind application. Oops. And so she I think she welcome to volunteer to fix it for us. So that was fantastic. That was I think one of our best contributions yet from a non-Hashgraph employee. So yeah, and then as far as interactions with non-Hashgraph employees, right now they typically reach out to us through Discord, through this channel that I was demonstrating earlier. Or they reach out to us through Hashgraph by, sorry, the solo repo by and usually creating like an issue. We've had several times where people did that. And so right now, I think those are the two ways of reaching out to us. I think somebody reached out to email, but I don't know how. I think maybe Hendrik looped us in through an email or something like that. So, but yeah, I think Discord or poll or issues are great ways to reach out to us for right now. And we do support the forking process. So, if you want to contribute and you're not already, underneath the Hiero Ledger org, then you can use the fork process and create a pull request that way. And it will show up on our radar pretty rapidly because I try to keep this list pretty small for our outstanding pull requests. So yeah. And then the other thing too is that we're not on, so our checked in version of Solo, we don't want to be newer than the mainnet because mainnet is stable. But a lot of teams within Hashgraph specifically will want to use newer versions that are like in testnet or previewnet, or not even it's off of the main branch of consensus node. And so we fell a bit behind. We're in the process of catching back up. And we've got a process that isn't fully ironed out where we can go in and kick off an action and basically put in the version that we want to run the build for. So like if we want to do main and then we put in the version and then it would go in there and it would basically run a build against that. That's the idea. I was testing it the other day. I think it's working. I think it had the same error messages as me coming in here and doing it this way. But yeah, we're right now. I got it up to 63.9. In the process of getting it to 64.1. It's surfacing some stuff. And then main, I think we're calling the consensus node main branch 65. And I understand like there are going to be community members also that will want to run newer versions. And so that is very understandable because they probably want to, once they get their applications and they're kind of stable and they want to keep them stable, then they'll probably want to test them out in like PreviewNet and testnet. And so those will have newer versions that yet haven't rolled to mainnet, but they want to make sure the app works. And so that same type of theory that we have to do with the Hashgraph employees running all these repos, and eventually we'll have more community members that are not Hashgraph employees or contractors. That's the idea. Then they'll be able to use these newer versions, and Solo will try to stay a little bit more up to date and catch all that. But we haven't got it there at this moment. So, but yeah, we in this one right here. And this one I don't intend to merge because some of these versions are newer than mainnet. And the other changes I'll go in there and separate them into separate PRs that need to check in. But yeah, yeah, see all of these. Actually, I have one on my machine where I was updating the relay to 70 because the relay went to 70 I think a few days ago. And so I need to update that. But yeah, so yeah, I guess that's a good topic to have brought up. All right, we still have the same people on the call? I think we do. Yeah, still the same people. So anybody have any other things? If not, I guess I'll go ahead and end the meeting early. Because I was just kind of rambling, but I think it was appropriate topics.
Yeah, nothing from my side. Thanks for sharing all this, Jeremy. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome for sure. Okay, well, maybe as I polish up, quick start a little bit more and fix some more bugs that we recently found in docs or stuff like that, then maybe we'll do some more in-depth walkthroughs on things, like either quick start deployments or various docs and things like that in case somebody's watching these recordings. Yeah, I mean, for if y'all right now you're our audience, and so you can think of things too that you might want to see, and maybe I could do some demos or some discussion about some of those things so that you can learn a little bit more about solo. And that may be more useful for you too.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
All right, thank you. You have a good day.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Well, hey, Roger. I guess everybody wrapped up already?
They just hung up. Yeah.
Sorry, I was on that other call for the fact document, so
Are you free now to hop over to a non-recorded Zoom?
yes, let's do.
Okay.